Hey everybody, it's Grishord here again with Grishord Games. I got another Wingman's Hangar breakdown for you, and I've got a little surprise Q&A that happened on the chat roll just a little bit ago that I thought I'd throw in. The only part really not Q&A is the star map they have hanging in the office. They have over 100 systems already mapped out that they're going to use, done, on a chart, didn't get to see it, didn't give us pictures, didn't even give us one of their little amazing whiteboard drawings of it, nothing. So we'll get to see that soon. They didn't say when. They just said quote unquote soon. TM. All right, let's jump straight into the Q&A. Oh wait, no, I got some pictures popping up of the 300i. I know you guys love juicy pictures, so I'm gonna let these roll. Now we're going to jump straight into Q&A. Alright, our crossbow's good. Pretty much all he said is they're a stealth weapon. You're going to be able to get crossbows just like the crossbow that was released in-game, but they're not going to look the same. So pretty much what you were paying for was the model. There's going to be very similar weapons, if not the identical weapons in-game. They just won't have that special model, and they will be insured. They said that would be kind of a jerk thing of them to do, to charge you $40 for something and not give you lifetime insurance on it. So rest assured it will have that.
Alleycat says, will recoil be modeled into crossover weapons?
Yeah, no, recoil is definitely modeled into all the weapons in our game. So it's actually part of CryEngine. They have recoil. There's a lot of recoil functionality in the game. So recoil for ballistic weapons, recoil for things like the crossbow, which is a ballistic weapon, and potentially recoil for some of the energy weapons, depending on the kind of energy weapon it is.
We're going to be able to customize our primary and secondary ship colors. Chris said most definitely probably. He said that you'll be able to choose base colors for the ship plus decals. Players might, very emphasis on the word might, be able to choose their own decals there. The only problem is people having, boobs and stuff like that. He didn't go on to say that, but that's what he implied. That they're not supposed to have, they just are not appropriate. That's the only reason they might not allow player-submitted decals, but they said it's a possibility. They might just, have the team go through and check each one, which would take a lot of legwork, but I'd volunteer to help. I mean, why not? Do you have to remember passcodes? You're going to have passcodes for this, that, and the other. You do not have to remember your passcodes. It's going to be like a key or a key card given to you. It'll just be part of your ship's databanks and stuff. You will not have to have this long sheet of passcodes written down for the game. Are there going to be different types of clothing with style and flavor? Yes. They're definitely going to have avatar customization for outfits, colors, clothes, all that good stuff. So will the devs be playing with the rest of us? Yes, the devs will be playing the game. They're making it for themselves, essentially, is what they say. So, which is the added bonus they're letting us play. With the Rift, can we lean forward around the beams of the cockpit? The answer was yes and no. No right now, because the Rift doesn't support that. But fortunately, the next version of the Rift, which I believe he referred to as version 2, should control lateral motion. Right now, the Rift does not. If you move forward and backwards, the Rift doesn't know. It only knows looking around. So, at this point, no, but by launch, probably to yes. I got a little clip here coming in about ship damage.
If a Vendula fighter rams me, or a ship explodes in my face, will we have effects like this, as we try to run away and struggle to get to safety?
And then in terms of damage, absolutely. I mean, if you remember the original Wing Commander, your ship had cracked monitors, sparks, all that kind of stuff inside your cockpit when you got damaged, and we're definitely doing that, but obviously with the fidelity we can do nowadays. So it would not be Star Citizen Squadron 42 without doing that. So that's a big focus, to have that level of detail going on inside the cockpit, which is where you're going to spend a huge amount of your time. So we're very focused on making all that entire environment be as detailed and nuanced as possible.
The reason I do the cutouts like that is I just feel Chris explains things better, and sometimes people just like to hear it straight from him, so that's why I include those little cuts in my videos. Will we have a chase cam view as well as in the cockpit? This has been really big on the forums, so you'd have to be under a rock not to have heard this by now. Yes, you'll be able to fly with the chase cam behind your ship, but you won't have a HUD, you won't have crosshairs, you won't have anything. It'll be your ship in space. That's it. This is going to be a first-person game. If you want to fly around arcade like Freelancer, you can, but you have nothing. It'll be like watching the Millennium Falcon on Star Wars. You'll just see the ship, you won't see anything else. You'll have to be in your cockpit to have proper access to everything. Again, no crosshairs even when you're out in the third person. Will the RSI team get to PAX Australia this year? Probably not. In future years, they're hoping to make it. Some people pledged on Kickstarter for add-on ships, including some ships with limited availability. When will we'll be able to commit the funds for those ships, and they'll be confirmed for our hangars? I'm going to let Chris answer that because it's kind of a complex answer.
The credit system is going to be functional on the new side. I mean, we were looking at building it for the old site, but since we're completely refactoring and building this site from the ground up, it didn't make sense to spend a significant amount of engineering side on something that we're going to throw away. So the credit allocation program and a whole bunch of really great features are coming in the new site. The new site is... I think we're going to probably go into a limited test at the end of next month, and then probably roll it out fully in June. But we're going to obviously we have to test it to a certain extent. So I think we'll probably invite some members of the community to help us test it. So we've still got to figure that out because we don't want 100,000 people testing the site day one because then you're not really testing it.
You're just breaking it.
So I don't know whether we'll do a lottery or people can say, hey, I'd like let me test a new site or something like that. But we'll figure that out in the coming weeks. But yes, the functionality to be able to spend your credits will be in the new site, as well as a lot of other things where you'll be able to sort of switch out something you have for something else in credits and move around and essentially sort of arrange the things that you've pledged for in Star Citizen.
All right, I got a couple Q&As coming up here regarding player starting location and quote-unquote leveling, which I'll just let Chris answer.
On the hangar front, I think we're going to let the player potentially choose some of the options. We're still also figuring that out. There definitely will be more than one place that will let players start on the universe because we can't have everyone start on the same planet. So we were sort of thinking if you go through Squadron 42 and you muster out, you may have a choice for some different places. Maybe that has something tied into what you do in the single player campaign. If you choose not to play Squadron 42, then maybe some of the places or choices you would start would be different. We haven't fully decided whether it's a combination of some randomness and some choice. That may be one way to do it, but we'll definitely spread the player base out and as far as sort of home planets. And I guess what we would focus on is the home planet that you would choose as the base would sort of be good for the kind of thing you want to do. So if you want to be a pirate, probably you don't want a home base like Earth. You probably want to be somewhere else. But we're still working that aspect out.
There you go. From Leprechaun, he says, how will leveling work? Is it solely based on your purchase of a ship you can fly, or are there any skills or training you will need to fly certain ships?
Okay, so we don't have leveling per se. We're not an RPG. It's not like you're going to be strength 18 and dexterity 17 and level 30. For us, there's a couple of factors. One, your ship and building it up, getting better components, tuning the components, and then also just you as a player. As you play more, hopefully you'll get better. We are considering, or we haven't decided 100%, that there will be some classes of ship that you may need to fly some missions or get some training for before you have it, just like in the real world. So in the real world, if I want to drive an 18-wheeler truck, I can't, with my normal driving license, I'm not allowed to drive an 18-wheeler truck. I have to go and get a driver's license that says I am class of...
commercial driver's license.
Yeah, I'm a commercial driver and I can drive a vehicle of this class. So we may do that, which isn't really leveling, but it's sort of a task or a mission that you would have to do at some point before you could buy or fly one of these ships.
It's kind of similar to the last.
Yeah, I think that is. I mean, we've got some ideas when you start in Squadron 42 that anyway, it's built into the story and narrative, but by some of your early conversations, you sort of determine kind of what your adventure is going to unfold and kind of what your into? You know, are you sort of aggressive? Are you the guy that wants to save the world and all the rest of stuff? And I think maybe that will also impact a little bit of where you're from and stuff. So we're going to try and figure out some of the origin stuff in fiction. But again, that's stuff that we're currently working out. But you know, that's part of what I was talking about with the choices in the various places where your hangar would be, because you know, maybe you base yourself out of your planet of origin, maybe you don't, maybe it's a place you met on your tour of duty if you're playing Squadron 42. So we're still figuring that out, but it's a good question.
All right, and there's another interview at the end of the Wingman's hangar, but as far as game, like actual sensitive stuff is involved, that's pretty much everything that was included. Again, I highly recommend you go over to Wingman's hangar and watch it if you want to see the whole video. It's probably about 35 minutes, I believe, in length, whereas this is, you know, roughly 13. It's just cutting out all the extra stuff. But if you want the extra stuff, go watch Wingman's hangar. Now the extra the extra information I promised you tonight. Ben actually answered a few questions during chat roll this evening, and I, with my screenshot skills, copied the questions and answers for the most part. I think I might have missed one question. But I did get the answer for it, and I think I explained it on there. I don't know. I don't remember. If it doesn't make sense, that's why. But the rest should make sense. So here you go. Again, I recommend pausing it, because you're not going to have time to read it all. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.